Hello YouTube and welcome to AnTREXon Gaming. Today I decided to take a look at Echo of Soul, also known as EOS, a Korean MMORPG that's about to hit the Western world with a hammer, or is it? So let's find out what this game is all about. I'm going to do this review in several steps. First I'm going to talk about graphics, I'm going to talk about sound and music, which you hear in the background. I'm also going to talk about gameplay, and we're going to need to start with something really simple, creating a new character and what the character design looks like. I'm going to start a new character just to show you what the gameplay looks like in the beginning, and also I'm going to show you my level 13 wizard character, which you see on the screen right now, in barely dressed wizard, that I'm going to discuss and show you what the gameplay is like with her and with the new character that we're going to make. So let's start with the classes. There's 5 classes you can choose from. There is a warrior that then becomes either berserker or a protector. Obviously this is a more offensive class, this is a more defensive class. Then you also have someone called rogue. Obviously this is a thief class who can become a duelist or an assassin. I don't really know what the difference is, but that's what you get. You also get Guardian, which is a more tanky class. Here you have Storm Guard or Earth Guard. So this is a very defensive class compared to the Warrior. Then you get Sorceress, which is what my main class is here. And these become Fire Mage, which is more based on pure DPS, or Ice Mage, which is based more on critical strikes. And lastly, you get Archer, which can either become a Huntress or a Bard. This is more of a support class, and this is more of a DPS class. Now, all of these classes are unfortunately gender locked, so you can't really choose your gender. And in terms of appearance, you don't really have much choice either. And all of these characters look like really underdressed or underage people. So I'm not sure how well this is going to fly with the American audience, but there you have it. So I'm just gonna start an archer because I actually wanted to try an archer as well. Let's see what she plays like. I'm gonna show you what the beginning of the game is like. So this is what the character creation is like. So as you can see, if you actually zoom in, there's some really nice hair detail and also some of the really nice detail on the clothes. Like all of this stuff is actually really well made, but the thing is, you don't really have much choice in terms of what you want your character to look like. So first of all, in terms of dresses, you only have like 5 choices, and they all, to me at least, they look all kind of funny. I'm just gonna choose this because it kind of looks more gothy. And then you get a helmet, or for some reason all of them have a pirate hat, all of them have cat ears, obviously, because why not? All of them have this, whatever that is, it's on your eye. And they also get whatever that thing is called. I don't know what this is for. I mean, I prefer to have nothing. Then you have these attachments to your arm as well. You can also have that sticking out of your butt. Some classes also get a tail, and I don't know what it is. What's this fascination with tails in the Eastern world? But yeah, you get some choices of hair here. I actually kind of like this hair. Yay, look at that, it's wobbly. Faces, So basically it's a very simple character creation. It's not really complicated, it doesn't really give you that much choice. So those of you who do like to customize your characters, you might be kind of disappointed. I'm gonna name her something similar to my other character, just a little bit different. And body size. Oh, I wanted to make her fat, but I can't because this is an Asian game. No character can ever be fat. Let's give her super long legs and super large head. There you go. And just large everything. She's gonna be giant person. Alright, so that's basically the character creation in a nutshell. Not very complex at all. Relatively simple, relatively disappointing. Moving on. When you start the game, you get a cutscene, which I'm going to skip because it's actually a little bit confusing. It does try to introduce the story, but the nutshell is that there was a war between gods and giants, and gods won, but giants ended up screwing over the earth, and things went wrong afterwards. Let's just put it that way. It's a very confusing story. The cutscene doesn't actually explain anything to you, so there you have it. Now let's start with graphics. So that's actually what the game looks like. Okay, yeah, let's not look under her skirt. I personally was very disappointed with this. It's a little bit underwhelming for a 2015 game. Seeing this is a little bit underwhelming. This really reminds me of another Aeria game called Shaya. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And in Shaya, you had almost exactly the same graphics. Maybe a little bit less detail, a little bit less textured, but it feels like they basically reused the engine. It feels like there's really nothing else that has been added. You also, as soon as you log in, you get a day login bonus, which is, to me, is a little bit disappointing, but some people may like this. You get the help screens.
Welcome to the world of Echo.
Interestingly, Interestingly, all of the help screens are actually voiced here, and so are some of the NPCs, but not all of them. So usually, if you click on an NPC, let me just do it right now, she'll say hi to you, but then that's it. That's all she does. There's no other voices here. You have to actually read the text. And that's all they say. And the thing is, some of the voice acting here is actually really well done. Some of it is actually, like, I would say almost professional. But unfortunately, it's just like, I think they only had enough budget to pay them to say, like, hello, goodbye, thank you, have a good day. So they don't actually have much voices. Now, graphically, this game is not very, very impressive. Honestly, if this was a score-based review, I would totally fail it. And this is actually, I'm playing currently on the highest possible settings, so in 1080p. And this is another problem with the game right now, is that it's not very well optimized. I'm playing on a PC that can run every single MMORPG in 60 FPS or higher. This currently is giving me only 32 FPS. Now this is like with a 980 GTX video card, which is, if you know your video card, is top of the line video card currently in 2015. And unfortunately, it's just not really doing it for me. I don't know if there's a bottleneck somewhere in memory or maybe hard drive, but it's obviously not optimized. So graphically, I think this game fails for me. Music and sound, if you listen closely while I'm not talking, that's really what you'll be hearing for the rest of the game. There's a bit of a music in there. Every level has a slightly different music. There's obviously always sound effects like people being hit, someone hitting you, or you doing the hitting thing right there. And there we go. That's all you'll be hearing. There's not much else in terms of sound effects. Like I said, voiceovers are very, very limited. You'll hear this once in a while, and that's about it. You'll hear the most of the voiceovers or most of the voice effects you'll hear by clicking on the help buttons.
The only way to fully experience the massive
so it seems like they paid a lot of money to do the help section, but nothing else is really voiced in here. So in terms of sound, I think it's a barely pass. I mean, it does have sounds, it has music, some of it is quite intense, but it's not particularly impressive. Alright, let's talk about gameplay. So I'm going to start with this character here, and as I play with her, I'll explain to you how this game is played and what this game is all about. Now, first of all, this is not a skill-based game. In other words, it is a button masher game where you basically stand and just use your skills. It is very, very similar to Shaya if you played that, or if you've played Lineage 2, there's a bit of that as well. It even feels like the same engine actually. It might be actually the same engine as Lineage 2. So you do control your character with WASD, or alternatively you can just right click to move. So right now I'm right clicking. WASD works quite well as well though. You do have a jump, which is somewhat unnecessary because there are invisible walls everywhere that will not allow you to move where you're not supposed to move. The other thing is that as you level up, you actually unlock skills, so you don't actually unlock them in any other way, and you don't get any attribute points. So as you progress through levels, your attribute points are assigned automatically. Now, there is something called PvE efficiency and PvP efficiency, and that's because I think eventually this game wants to become a PvP focused game. Right now it is not, because, well, first of all, there's just not enough players doing PvP, and secondly, it doesn't have enough option. In terms of PvP, you only get... show you only get very, very, very few options here. First of all, you get guild versus guild, which means you have to have a guild. Secondly, you get something called battlefield, which is 15 on 15. This is actually the biggest PvP right now. It's 15 on 15 battle on the map, where basically it's team of 15 versus team of 15, and usually this is randomly assigned. Alternatively, you can have an arena, which is 5 versus 5, very similar to what World of Warcraft arena was like. And here you may want to have a party of at least 3 members to kind of help you. There's also dungeons here, and something called Infinite Dungeon, which is basically a high-level dungeon where you kind of compete with yourself and with others to try to complete it as fast as possible. But you do have to have high level to try to accomplish it. Or there's also normal dungeons which go by levels. First dungeon is at level 10. I've just completed that with my other character. It was very underwhelming. It was basically... you go from one room to another killing monsters. you do get some equipment, and then the final boss was relatively easy to defeat even solo, so you don't actually have to have any party. You can also have a party dungeon, which is actually a very different thing from a solo dungeon. Party dungeon is for several people, and here you do have slightly more difficult monsters, but they're not particularly that challenging. And in terms of dungeons, there's like, what, maybe 15 dungeons in total, and they all usually get unlocked every 5 or so levels. I mean, you can actually access them right now. I can actually go in there right now and show you what it's like, but the thing is, I'll probably get killed. Oh, no, let's just see if I can do that. Let's actually see if I can go into the dungeon. Where was it? Here it is. Oh, there's also something called smart matching, which is their way of saying we will match you up with other players to play. But it is not very smart so far, because so far it has been very unsuccessful. But this is open beta, so that's forgivable. They'll probably fix this later. There's also something called time attack, which is where you try to beat a dungeon as fast as possible, and you get rewards for doing so. So every dungeon has a record already, and if you do beat that, you do get a prize. I was like way behind the record, so I don't think I'm even close to that. Anywho, so let me just click on the dungeon that I was thinking of. There's also raids, but they're not currently available. So yeah, so technically there's still no raids. I'm going to the wrong area. I wanted to go right here. Alright, apparently I can't go into the dungeon yet because I'm way too low level, so that will have to wait until later. Anyway, moving on. So the gameplay in terms of battling and all that is very typical. It feels exactly like Shaya. You point, you click, you wait for the monster to get defeated, you use your skills when needed, and then the monster falls, you get experience, and so on. Quests here are ridiculously easy. You remember those kill 10 rat quests? Well, now you just have to kill 1 or 2 rats, and this goes on until like level 20 at least. Your quests will basically make you run around the levels and either click on things or kill things, and there's really no imagination. It feels like it's been added at the last possible moment, so once again a little bit disappointed with the way quests have been done here. Now, my main disappointment so far, though, and I know this sounds really negative so far, but my main disappointment was this. This whole area is actually very small. The entire area here, and this is actually the introduction area, so it's a little bit bigger, but when I show you the area with my main character, you'll see how small it is. All of these areas are essentially just rooms that you go through by using these blue portals right here, and every map has them. So the map here is actually very large. This is just so okay, I'm right here. This is me running. Now I'm going to zoom out. This was the map right here. There's more maps, and this is just one map. And then I zoom out again, and this is just one part of all that. So it's actually a really large game. It has all these huge areas, but the problem is that it's so modular. And this is something I don't really like, because I prefer games that have open world where you kind of seamlessly go from one area to another. Here, it's essentially, it's not instance per se, but it is very limited in terms of where you can go. So like if I click on here, Nemus Woods, you see these thingies, these blue things. This is actually just one room right here. You exit this room by entering this portal, and then you enter this other tiny room. Then you enter this again. There's another tiny room. There's another tiny room right here, and there's another tiny room. So this map contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different rooms in it. And so every single map is like that. Some maps are bigger than others, but for the most part, you'll just go through these portals to get to a new area. And it's a little bit annoying, I think, and it's also a little bit disappointing because I feel like in 2015 we should be able to have a game that is more seamless than that. And this right there you can see is the boss. This is actually a solo thing where you when you do have a mission, you can actually enter and defeat him, and he's relatively easy to defeat as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about character advancement and also how the skills work in this game. So everything is so far quite typical. There is one main difference I'll explain to you in a second, but before I get to that, let's talk about skills. So there are common skills right here. These are your character skills. So for example, these are all my archer skills, and these unlock as I progress through levels until level 20. And then at level 10, I also get my second class, which is going to be either a huntress or a bard. Now I can't really show it to you here. I'm going to show it to you on my wizard how it looks like, but basically there you also start getting skill points that you can then distribute into various special skills. So you can either get an active skill or passive skill. You can get extra abilities. So eventually you'll have quite a full ability bar right here that will be full of different skills that you'll be using. But the thing is, all in all, there's really nothing new in there. I mean, it really feels like so many other games, especially so many other Korean games that have done this before. Now, obviously, this game looks a little bit newer. The particle effects are quite nice. I mean, look at the hair motion here. It's just amazing. But in terms of everything else, it's just a little bit underwhelming. Now, let's talk about the main difference that this game basically brings to the MMORPG plate, and really that's all it has going for it so far. It's something called Soul System. Now, oh, actually no, there's really two things, but the second thing is kind of silly. There's something called satiety, which is really how hungry you are, and this means that you actually have to eat in this game. So right now I have food, which means that you know, being a cook or a chef in this game, and this is one of the crafting professions, is actually kind of useful. So when I eat things, I get satiety. Satiety increases or boosts my maximum HP and also my attack by just a tiny bit. It also decreases with time and with me using various things. Like, for example, if I use a lot of skills, if I start fighting, I get hungrier. But right now, I get a slight boost, 2% boost to my attack and to my HP. So that's really like the main, not the main, but slightly lesser difference from other games. But the main difference is this. It's actually called Soul Skill Hotkey Icon. That's what it's called. I'm gonna show it to you right here. Every time you kill a monster, or I guess kill anything, you get their soul. Their soul is collected right here. When I stand next to a special crystal, which I think is in a city right here. Let me see if I can find it. Where's the city? Where is the city? Show me the city. Okay, I think I found the city, so I'm gonna go inside and show you what this is all about. So when you go into the city, you can actually refine these souls and collect them. And what this does is it allows you to distribute your skill points into one of these four things. One is called courage, one is called hope, innocence, and peace. And these are temporary buffs for your character.
Could you help me?
No, I can't. I can't help you. Sorry, buddy. You're all on your own. This game does not have my attention, so you're all on your own. So this is the crystal I'm talking about. So right here, if I stand next to it, hopefully this works even though I'm level 1. Yay, it worked. So I purified my souls and all of my... Oh, I should have showed you how the assignment works. There it is. Okay. So right now I purified my souls and they all went into the courage. So that means that now I have level 1 courage, which I can now use here. Here. Oh, I can I use it? Yeah, there we go. I can assign it to my T key and it will now essentially boost my abilities for, what is it? How many seconds? I forgot how many seconds. I think it's like 30 seconds. So for 30 seconds, I'll get a self buff of plus 16 attack, attack speed, and casting speed increase. Yeah, I'll also get a little bit more experience during that time. So essentially, you boost yourself. And the thing is, you can actually increase this. This can actually be increased as you get more and more souls. So you can actually wait for this to be used. Like, let's just say there's a really difficult boss that you want to wait until, or you're waiting for a duel or a PvP fight where you want to win. So you basically boost this to like several levels until it gives you a much higher self buff, at which point you can actually use this. And right now I'm going to use it. It gives you these wings for 30 seconds, and for 30 seconds I get I basically get buffed. So now there's a special music playing and I'm a lot more powerful, or slightly more powerful than before. So it's a kind of a nice addition. It gives you a little bit more planning, a little bit more variety to, you know, how you want to play your character, because there's 4 different versions of buffs you can focus on, and also you can actually upgrade all 4 of them and use them one after another. So let's just say you use this first, this runs out, you switch to this, you use that one, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, you can't use them when they're level 0. You have to wait for them until they're level 1 to use them. So that's really the main difference, and this is actually, I think, why this game is called Echo of Soul, because it has these souls that you refine. The other thing you can do actually is, if you want to get more refined souls, if you do something called co-op refinement, if you like click on, like, this is another person. If I click on her, on her name right here, this says coal purification. If you do this, they will get a dialogue. Okay, she was still too far away. You'll get a dialogue that says, do you want to purify souls together? And if they click yes, then you purify them together and you get slightly more souls that way. So that's really it. That's all this game has to offer, unfortunately. Obviously there's items, there's other things, but everything else is very, very similar to other MMORPGs. So let me switch to my main character and I'll show you what the other Aeria looks like. So this girl is pretty awesome, but I think I kind of like my wizard more. So let me show you what she's like. And here she is, AnTREXia, in something called Simum Sand Basin. Oh, Sun Basin, sorry. Alright, so I'm right here, and this is actually another area where you can kind of level up with a little bit more success because it does give you more quests and they're usually level specific. Now this area is located right here. I'm still in that other small area, still haven't left that. It's called 11s. But obviously I left this part. And so here, basically you go through these, it's sort of like almost like a maze. You go like this way, then you go that way, you come back here, and then you obviously leave this area, and you go through these various cities which are located on your map. So it's a very, very linear game, and you essentially go through these rooms. So a lot of these, I don't want to call them rooms, but they are rooms, look a little bit different. Like for example, if I enter this one, it might have a slightly different look. And this actually so far is the most beautiful one I've seen. This has like wind effects and it has like these rags there on the tree. But if I were to enter this, and this is essentially what you'll be going through if you play this game, you will be going through oh, oops, my bad. You'll be going through a lot of these portals, and I like how they actually made the portal effects kind of seamless, but it's still a portal, it's still a room, it's still a different area. And so now I'm in a slightly different but somewhat similar room, and basically here, it's not very big as you can see if you look at this minimap, it's basically from here up to here. So essentially, if I run this way for like 15 to 20 seconds, I will hit another portal. But I have to kill this bug first, because he's gonna bug me. Pun intended. And this is what the sorcerer plays like, so I'm gonna freeze him, jump away from him, jump away from... Oh, he's already dead. Never mind. I killed him already. Oops, my bad. Yeah, Sorcerers is a pretty powerful class in this game, like in many other games, but here specifically. And if I keep going... Is it this way? Yeah, this way. There is another portal to my left. Is it correct? Minimap? Yep. There you go. There is another portal. So this is essentially how this game will be like when it comes out. It's just a series of, you know, rooms that are technically not rooms, but they are rooms. So it's not a very seamless world, and if you're okay with that, then you might actually like this. I personally am not okay with this. I don't think this is acceptable. But I'm also a very picky MMORPG player, so, you know, to each his own. I do like the particle effect. The particle effects in this game are relatively nice. And the battles are quite good too. I mean, this is a quite balanced game. There's, you know, all the classes are really well balanced, and the actual battles are difficult. It's not an easy game. You will suffer, you will die. Monsters are not easy at all, but it's just I think it's a little bit too simple in terms of gameplay. Now I'm gonna play with my sorcerers for a little bit and just show you some of the locales here, some of the things that you can find. Now unfortunately there's a lot of really empty areas. Like, this is unusual to see. Like, you won't really see much in terms of, you know, little tidbits here and there, little additional characters or additional areas that are just added for the fun of it. Like, if you ever play World of Warcraft, for example, you can find some crazy things. Like, you can actually find a random guy standing somewhere by the fire, and he has like a really good looking a tent or something that's really well textured, and then he has like a bottle on a table, and it would be just added for fun, because, you know, just to give you this atmosphere. Here, this game does not have that. You will almost never see anything atmospheric. It feels very kind of empty. It feels very shallow. As you can see, I just finished another quest. I only had to kill 4 of these scorpions, and this is probably the most you'll ever see. The game is not really demanding in terms of quests, and I don't even know why they added those quests, because they seem kind of useless. They just basically kind of waste my time. They should have just given me the whole level, instead of having me run around killing scorpions that don't want to die anyway. Anywho, oh yeah, there's mounts in this game, but they're very, very Asian-like. A lot of them look funny. I think your first mon that you get is a llama, but there's a bug in the game where I picked the wrong color, so now I can't use it. It says I don't have a permit to ride it. I don't know why. I could not figure out why, but there you have it. I got a free bag here apparently. Also, what is that? Yeah, no, I want that. Runes, I actually haven't figured out how they work yet, but there are runes as well. But yeah, there's a lot of really nice tidbits. You can upgrade your equipment. You can upgrade your. So if you look at my equipment, like for example here, you can actually add additional things to it. Sometimes you have to appraise your equipment so you can actually find out what kind of effects it has. So there's a lot of nice.
Never stop asking questions, for curiosity fuels discovery.
Oh, really? So yeah, a lot of really interesting additions to the equipment part, but everything else in this game is just a little bit too simple. Now, so the only saving grace for this so far is if they actually introduce a really nice PvP, because PvE-wise, it's just not fun at all. All right, so I get to choose my reward. I want this. I want the Ice Mage. Ice Mage shirt. Give me Ice Mage shirt. There we go. I get another quest called the Nutty Professor. So you'll be seeing a lot of this. You know, quests, return quests, come back to return a quest, go do another quest. And the quests are just...
What's your story, stranger?
My story is that the quests here are too easy. Way too easy, and you don't really enjoy doing them because they're not really... They don't mean anything. They have no meaning. They have no purpose. Where's the chest that he gave me? Is that it? No, that's it. Cool. I got 2 hoodies. Alright, so... Let's just try to move on. Let's move on from this area, and I'll show you what the other area looks like so that you get an idea of what this game is like for the rest of your life if you decide to play this. Oh, I found another one of those crystals. So let's actually use our souls, and I do have quite a lot of souls collected, don't I? And I'm gonna level up my Flame of Courage. All right, so let's do this. Purify. Excellent. And essentially this is the area where you spend the first few hours of your life here. It's the forest area, so you have the desert area, the forest area, and that's really the main 2 areas in the beginning. The other areas that I've seen in this game are not that much different, so don't expect to have a variety of different atmospheric elements here. But so yeah, overall, all in all, this game is a little bit underwhelming. I don't want to say disappointing because there is obviously something that someone will like, something that someone will enjoy, and especially if this does have a really fun PvP, which I haven't tried yet, this might be a super fun game. But the PvE elements and the fact that it's just for a 2015 game is just, you know, it really had me a little bit disappointed. I don't think I can recommend this to anyone. Now it does have, you know, it's a free-to-play game. It does have some awesome benefits, like it gives you a lot of freebies. The skills in this game are pretty cool. There's a really nice particle effects, but the fact that it's not a seamless world. It's actually sort of based on these instances. Also, all of the monsters here are sort of low textured. Like if you actually look at this guy, the textures on him and the polygons are not particularly high. For a 2015 game, also very disappointing. The other thing that I was a little bit not happy about is the fact that only certain characters, specifically the help guy, are voiced. The rest of the characters have no voices at all. There are achievements in this game, as you've noticed, but you know what? If I'm not going to be playing this game seriously, those are not really important to me. And this right here is what you see on the highest possible settings. This is with 16x anti-aliasing and 1080p. So don't expect anything more beautiful than that. So yeah, all in all, not particularly impressed with this game. Hopefully it gets improved before the final release, and hopefully it does get better. If it doesn't, there's a very likely chance it's going to fail in the US, in the Western world. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful for you to decide if you want to play this game. This has been AnTREXon with EOS, Echo of Soul. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more MMORPGs. Also check out some of the other MMORPGs I've taken a look at, and follow my channel because I do have a lot of MMORPG reviews and awesome things of that nature. Thank you guys, and bye bye.